No
Good evening,
question.
ma'am.
Okay, yeah, good evening, Hamza.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm actually still battling with what's it called, the user research and the persona. I wanted to ask if at all, maybe at the end of your user research, yeah, maybe you have maybe after grouping your response, probably maybe let's say everything you grouped everything and it became like 3 or 4 different groups that are wanting the same thing, like something similar. So does that mean you're creating 4 persona, or how are you going to go about it?
Yes, now you create for persona. Now. Personas are not limited to just one or two or three. So yes, you create for.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you will. So does anybody have any other? I hope I'm sharing the correct slide. Yeah. So does anybody have any other question to ask? Yeah, Jimo, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah,
Yeah, good evening.
based on the user research, I just want to have an insight about it. Maybe for example, let me just use the assignment for example. Like you are told to make at least make a research about the fintech and the mobile application stuff. So now, after making our research, maybe using qualitative or quantitative. So how do we extract the insight or research that we've done? How do we work on that to make it a well presented one, like the one you said the last class? Sorry,
Okay, which other research did you do, qualitative or quantitative research?
quantitative.
And quantitative, that is you used a Google, is it you used Google Forms and then sent it out, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you can send me your Google form, I would like to see it before I make response to how that was, how you can extract what you get or the response you get at the back end. So I would like to see your Google form. So you can just send me via DM and then we can communicate or continue from there. Does anybody have any other question? If not, I'm gonna begin with today's session. We're 14 on the call, and that's a fair enough number to start with. I'm going to, okay, the record is starting. Thank you all so much for joining. Welcome to day 4. Today is the 4th class we've had so far. We still have a long way to go, but the more we go, the more we are going to be learning a lot of things. Thank you all so much for joining. For those that have been joining since day 1, I know some of you guys are the names of those that have been joining since day 1. We still have a lot more to go. Keep the energy going. Please, please, please keep the energy going. Keep joining. Keep attending the live classes. Keep doing the assignments. That is the most important part of it all. The assignment is the most important part of it all. I can talk and talk and talk from now till tomorrow. If you don't practice or carry it or carry out the task on your own, then you're not going to see results. And UI UX is technical. I know it's not like the other ones you guys are doing, like productivity or freelancing. This is a technical class, like a tech is like a very technical class where you get to put in practice to see results and all of that. It's just like every other tech skills that you have, your front-end web development, back-end, cyber security, data analysis, digital analysis, graphic design. Yeah, it's just part of the other technical skill you need to know at the end of the day. So you have to put in the work to see results. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to see your results. You are just going to be acclimating things to your head. And don't expect to just put in the work and see results ASAP. No. Practice makes improvement. It doesn't make perfect. I know many people say practice make perfect and the rest, but I don't believe in that. I believe practice make improvements, because once you practice day 1, day 2, day 3, you keep putting it in, you are going to be seeing improvement compared to day, I think it's day 30 something, or is it day 12 or so? How many classes we have? So by the time we get to day 12, you're going to see how you've increased or how you've improved within a short period of time. So yeah, welcome to my TED talk. Thank you for giving me that brief moment. So let's go into the class. So what we're going to be looking at today is information architecture. So the last thing we looked at was our user research and user persona. And I made mention or told you guys that we're going to be building on that from what we've heard or from what we've done step by step. We're going to continue building on that. That's why I say make sure you have a good base when it comes to your user research, when it comes to your user persona, because anything we're going to be doing furthermore to an extent is going to be built on that. It's more like you're going to be doing a mini project along the class or along what we are going to be doing. So I'm going to be sharing screens. I'm going to be looking at my slide and also moving from the slide to the FigJam interface, which we are still going to be looking at, and then we're going to go into Figma during the course of this class. If not, we'll continue again from next class. So we're going to look at Figma in full, explain it in detail and all of that. So information architecture for this session, we are going to be looking for information architecture session. We're going to be looking at information architecture, what it is and all of those stuff, structuring and organizing your content, importance of it in your design. So let's move in. I believe everybody can see my screen. So what is information architecture? Information architecture is just like, for example, when you are building a house or when you are working on a building project, when you want to build a house, you know that there are plans or there are architects which draw the plan of the house, the floor plan and everything. You don't just go and then the bricklayer will just carry block and start building one place of it. The building once they draw it, they say, okay, once you enter your house, once you enter through the front door, you see your room. In your room, by your left-hand side, you are able to see the sockets. You see that plan before the building starts. When you see some kind buildings and you'll be wondering, oh, the way this building is, you see some kind building, the way they position the door or the way the kitchen is so small, the rest you'll be wondering that was there even a building plan for this building in the first place, or they just came and start putting concrete and blocks and all of those stuff. So when a good architect is involved, they draw the plan and everything, you see how it comes together. So I just use that to explain in practical terms. When it comes to UI UX design, that's what information architecture is all about, is the structural representation of the app or your product even before you see it. You have not built your products yet. You've not started doing the design of your product and all of those stuff. But what you do, or what the information architecture is all about, is giving you that structural flow, arrangement of how your website is more like a blueprint, a visual representation of the futures and then the hierarchy. That's the two most important thing when it comes to building and information architecture. It gives you a view of how the futures are meant to be like, and not just the futures alone you plan to put in your app or in your products, but the hierarchy. What do you mean by hierarchy? The order in which it's going to be like at the end of the day. So you mean you're going to have point A, point B, just like the way I made use of the house. Once you enter your house, for example, you pass through the front door. What do you see? You see your you see your living room. In the living room, you can see your dining by the left-hand side. Then once you go through the dining, you can see another door to go outside. apart from the dining, you go through your right hand side. Just the way that looks like, that's how your information architecture is. It gives you the hierarchy of how things are meant to be. So the example I have here, I just put this, attach it to the slide, but I'm still going to go into my FigJam file to give a more broad overview of what is like. Okay. So on this information architecture sample I put beside it, this is an information architecture for an ebook case study that was actually done by me. I have it on my Behance. So it's just showing the pictorial view of how it's meant to be. Once you see the splash screen, you go to the onboarding screen. From the onboarding screen, you see the welcome screen. From the welcome screen, now you can now see two other screens. You can see your sign up, your sign in. From your sign in, you can see your reset password. From your reset password, you can see email verification, OTP confirmation screen. So that's just how the entire flow is like. Okay, let me just explain this part of the slide. I think this is the last part of this slide for this session, so I can go to my FigJam to explain what I want to explain for that. So structuring, how do you structure your content or organize your content? At the end of the day, you've done your research, you've done your persona, you've come up with, okay, can you guys hear me? Somebody said my voice is breaking. Please, are others hearing me? Or is it audible?
Yeah, we are here. We are here.
Okay. Please, if you can't hear me, just try and check your network. I know network has been really terrible these past few days. I don't know whether it's because of the rain, especially MTN network. So please just try and leave and then rejoin. So you've done, okay, I was saying you've done your research, you've done your persona on that particular problem or that particular case study you're trying to do at the end of the day. So the next thing that you do is to come up with futures. You come up with ideas in which you want to solve that particular problem, or you want the solution you want to profile to. That's why I say do your personal, because when you have your personal, you'll be able to see your the goals, the frustration, the pain points of your target users. At the end of the day, when you see all of that from your frustration, for example, if you have frustration one, not able to access so and so. So what is the solution you are going to profile at the end of the day? The solution is probably designing a mobile app or an interface that will be able to provide this particular thing. I've made mention of all of this when I was talking about user persona, so I don't want to dwell on it too much. So where information architecture is now coming, is now be like, okay, so how do you want to do that? You've written that okay, you've written it down that if I'm designing my mobile app, it should have this feature A. You've done your research, you've searched online for other similar products that exist and see the features they have and see how you can integrate your own feature and all of those stuff. So you'd be like, I want it to have this feature. I want the home screen or the home page to have A. I want the other one to have B. I want let there be a particular button at the left-hand side or at the right-hand side. So you know how all those things, you know this is what you want. So information architecture does give you a structural outline of how those things are going to look like at the end of the day, even before writing it. Sorry, let me make sure I'm on track here. Okay, yeah, structuring and organizing content. The goal of information architecture is to create a seamless experience for users by making it easy for them to find information they need. This can be achieved by using various tools like a piece of paper and pencil. Yes, you can make use of your pen and pencil. You don't even have to have you don't need to have access to an online tool or FigJam for you to be able to do or carry out an information architecture. You can just carry your pen and paper, start drawing small boxes. When you draw a box, draw another line again. When you draw a box, draw another line again, connect it, draw the next box, write what you want to write that will be there at the end of the day. That is what you can do. You can use a pen or piece of paper. You can still use FigJam, which we are going to look at the end of the day. All you need to do is add various pages and scenarios for the particular products you are building in order of hierarchy. So all of these are still repetition of all what I've been saying since and all of that. The importance, I'm not going to read all of this word for word, but it's just there as a guide for you at the end of the day. So just one important I'm just going to focus on, I don't know if it's here, but that's just what I'm going to say, is the fact that when you do an information architecture in your design process or when building your project or building your products, it's instead of just jumping to your Figma and start designing a particular screen, start designing screen A and all of that, you can do your information architecture or do the way things are meant to look like. You can share it with your stakeholders, that is probably those that are involved or those that own the product you are building. Show them how this is how the flow is going to be, or before you even start building it, before you start designing in Figma or start designing whatever you want to design, you can share it with them, let them know that, oh, this is how the product is going to look like, and then they can come in and be like, oh, they don't want this future. You can share it with other people, probably the marketing team, the developers, and all of that stuff, so that they can be aware, and then they can, because they are still part of like the whole design decision process at the end of the day. So you can share it with them, and they'll be like, oh, you can make certain corrections at point A, make certain corrections at point B, and all of that before you even start designing. And one thing again is that most times you can do your information architecture. After your information architecture, go and start building your product and the rest. When you want to, there are some products that are out there, features are coming out every day, like they are releasing new features to the products every day. So information architecture gives you this how will I put it? It gives you this way to be able to implement those features. So when you want to release a new, for example, WhatsApp, so if you see WhatsApp releasing new features every now and then, all this your social media platform, OPE can just wake up tomorrow and say they want to add one particular thing. They don't just wake up tomorrow and say they want to just add that into the app. Most times they first of all go back to where their information architecture is for that product. They look at where it can actually come in and be like, okay, since we have our home screen here, what if we add a particular button to this particular home screen that is known as, before they even go to the mobile app to start designing. That information architecture is where they actually build the structural plan, everything. So, okay, yeah, the important thing is enhancing user is facilitating content management, supporting scalability. So, yeah, you can read through all of that at the end of this. So, what I said, those are some important why information architecture is needed in your project before just jumping into your design at the end of the day. So, okay, that's that for that. So, this is the assignment you're going to have. So, let me just share let me go back to this other part. Yeah. Let me share this tab instead. Yeah, I believe this should be 8. So yeah, this is still my FigJam board. So just like the way you have your templates when it comes to your user persona and the rest, you can still search for templates at the end of the day on FigJam if you want to create an information architecture on it. Like I said, you can still make use of your pen and paper. You can make use of FigJam. You can make use of Miro. I remember I talked about Miro the other time. So this was the one I shared here. Yeah, this particular one that you're seeing here, this is it on my FigJam. So this was this thing, these lines then here. Although I designed this one in Figma itself, so I just brought it here. So let me just explain how the flow is at the end of the day. There are lines in between each of them. So you have your splash screen. So after going through, after doing my research and all of those stuff, this was the features I came up and said, okay, I want it to be in my mobile app or in my mobile application at the end of the day. So I have my splash screen. The splash screen is literally the first screen you see on your mobile application when you download the app. That screen that stays for just like it stays for milliseconds or so. It just shows probably the logo and then the background of what the product is all about. So after my splash screen, you see the onboarding screen. Onboarding screens are just 1 or 2 or 3 screens that shows explaining what the application is all about at the end of the day. So just looking at this without even designing the app or seeing the mobile application, I already have a pictorial view of how this product is going to be at the end of the day. So after the splash screen, on body screen, you see a welcome screen. Then from that welcome screen, now I can see, let me zoom it in. So from the welcome screen now, I can decide to go to, so for my welcome screen, I can go to my sign up page. So on that welcome screen now, these are the two pages I'm going to see. I'm going to see sign up and I'm going to see sign in. So that's why I had a arrow divided them. I had an arrow or a line divided both of them to show that those are like the main call to action on that particular screen. It doesn't mean that there will not be other things. There can be other things there which you can decide to add your information architecture, or you can just focus on the most important ones. So they are going to be sign up and sign in. So after that, after the sign up, you are going to see email verification, which is what I added here. So if you want to sign up, you have to verify your email. They send you OTP confirmation screen, and then it takes you to your home screen. It's going like this. It's going from here to your home screen, and then you're now going to see on that home screen, you're going to see a search bar. So on that search bar, you're going to see results or filter. Coming back to, okay, for sign in, if you want to sign in, the only major call to action I added is the reset password. So you're going to sign in, reset password, and then that's all. Then your home screen. So after you sign in, there is a, let me come here, let me come back here. So there is a, after your reset password, you cannot go back to your home screen, which is this. After your confirm screen, you can go back to your home screen, which is this. Then on that home screen now is where you're going to see majorly every other thing. You can see your search bar, you can see your search bar, you can see account settings, you can see account settings, you can see gift box, you can see library, you can see trending now, you can see settings screen. So on that library, on this library now, you can see current reads, you can see read later, you can see archived, you can see audiobooks. So those are just things you can, that are meant to, this is how the interface is meant to look like, or the main or the key things that are meant to be there. I've not designed, you're not seeing the design now, or you're not seeing the interface, but you're just seeing the structural flow of how it's meant to look like. So when I want to start designing, I know that, okay, I'm starting from here or I'm starting from there. So you can still search for, if you're on your FigJam, you can still come to templates. Sorry, that's not templates. You can create new one from scratch. If you come to template, you still see a template to use if you want to use. Okay, I'm not sharing what I'm supposed to be sharing, so I'm sorry. So you can still decide to select a template. If you come here, you can just come to your, you can come to your plus sign on your FigJam. Once you click on that plus sign, that's where you're going to see templates. So, okay, I already searched for one. That's why it's showing this. So if you just type information architecture, you're going to see it and you can add your templates. Once you click on add templates, it gives you a template of how it's meant to look like at the end of the day. So this is like, this is like a template, meaning it's editable. You can edit it, but you can see how this is arranged from the home page. Now you can see that you are going to see about recipe, videos, grocery list. I don't know what this product is all about or template they had here. Then from your about, you can see press kits. Then from this same about too, you can go to, I think then from this about, you can see recipe collection or so. And then from this about, from this grocery list, it can still take you to, no, it's not grocery list. There's okay. From this recipe, you can still go to recipe collection. Then from these videos, you can still be able to access recipe collection. That's what this arrow means, that you can go from here, come here, go back to your videos. You can also still from here, you see here, from here, you see here. Then from these videos, you can see your favorites. From your grocery list, you can still go to your favorites. Then on each of them, you can ask see from first kit, you can see this one. From this, you can see this. So that is what basically information architecture is all about. It's just showing you the structural flow of how things are meant to go on that particular product you want to build, because you've had your ideas. So you don't just come up with idea and be like, okay, yes, I want to build an app that we have this particular solution at the end of the day. How are users going to navigate? How are they going to move from point A to B? Yes, you will know you want to have this feature at the rest, but at the end of the day, how are they going to navigate it? So just jumping into your Figma and start designing one screen, it's going to make you sometimes stall because you don't know what comes next. But when you have an information architecture, you already have an idea of, okay, this is what is going to come next. This is the next screen I need to design. This is the next feature that is coming in at this particular point in time. So I know what to do here. So that's why information architecture is important. So I'm going to go, we still have other things to look at. So this is the assignment you are going to be doing for that particular session. We're going to come back to the assignment. So let's just move on to the next thing that we're going to be looking at. So before that, does anybody have any question? Because I'm talking for quite some time now. And I don't just like when I'm talking. This is meant to be a class, interactive. So please, any question?
Hello, ma.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to ask. You said you were still going back to how you made that user persona, right?
On today's
Hello.
class, are you
Yes.
asking me if I'm going to go back to it?
Yes.
No, I'm not going to go back to it. Do you have any questions regarding it?
Yes. I think the one you used, you actually made your own template from the scratch. Then I think I tried doing that, but it seems a bit difficult. I don't know. Are there actually specific informations that we are supposed to have on the user persona? Are there specific informations you're supposed to impute on them?
Yes, I made mention of the informations you can put on it now, like goals, behaviors, pain points.
Basically, those five, I think I remember.
Yeah, I made mention of them that you
Oh,
can put on it. Then I made mention of the fact that you can still after your, the only addition I know I said was after the section you have your goals, behavior, pain points. Then after the pain points, add solutions. Like a user is experiencing this pain point. So what solution are you going to give, or what problem or what solutions are you going to provide to that pain point? So I made mention of adding a solution section too.
okay. Okay. So solution
Yes.
section at the end of it.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
on the user persona. Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the information architecture I just explained or made or we just talked about? Okay, Messi, I'm just seeing your comment right now about me talking too fast. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I did not know. And I was not paying attention to the call interface to see that. So please, if I talk too fast and you do not actually grasp any particular at a particular point or what I said, please just let me know so I can form again with what you did not grasp or what you did not hear. Messi. So does anybody have any other question? No question.
Right
Okay.
on.
Yeah, go ahead. If you don't ask question, I'll still ask my own question. I'll finish like 30 minutes before so I can do question and answer. Yeah, somebody wanted to ask a question.
No, I was saying, go ahead, man. We're following you, man.
Okay. Thank you for that. So these people raising,
Huh?
these people raising up their hand. Martins and Jimo, do you have a question?
Yes, ma. Concerning the information architecture, if you are
Yeah.
doing that, is based on, I want to get it very well, based on the solution you want to provide to the problem or the research you work on, is what you are going to use to prepare the information architecture, right? And you may mention of other software or application that we can use to make it. So I couldn't hear that aspect very well.
Okay. Yes. The information architecture is based on the solution you are providing to the persona or to the research that you did. So you are building a product, you are building an application. What is going to be in that application or what is going to be in that product that you are building? That is where the information architecture comes in. It's for you to be able to arrange what is going to be in that product and how the navigation is going to look like. So if I'm building a product, I'm building a mobile application. When you open the mobile application, what am I going to see first? After seeing that, what am I going to see next? Once I get to the home page or the landing page, which is like the after you've signed up or log in, what you see is the home page or the landing page. What are the things that are going to be on there? And even when I see the things that are on there, how am I going to navigate from the things I'm seeing? So that is how, or that is where information architecture comes in. I made reference to you building a house. There is always an architectural design. Architects are involved with building a house and they always do a house plan or a house design. You don't just go and build a house and just carry sand or carry concrete and start building at a particular point, because you have to know how things are going to look like. You have to know how they are positioning certain things. So you usually see a floor plan or a building plan. That implies to in UI UX design. So information architecture is just giving you a structural view of how your mobile interface is going to look like at the end of the day, how your product is meant to look like at the end of the day. I don't know if that gave a reassuring explanation from what I have been saying since. Somewhere and Olayinka, I don't know if you guys still have a question to ask. Your hands are up.
Okay, well, for my question, I understood the explanation of the information architecture and
Okay, so
from the example you showed. So now, in
okay,
trying to create the information architecture, for example, in our fintech app and edutech app, the
yeah,
way the way like using like this template that was on the FigJam, I think this looks
yeah.
like a template for your websites because there's homepage and all and all and all. And to edit this and tailor it to an app, I don't think it will be better to start from a fresh start. I don't know if there was a way maybe you could show us how we could maybe do it, the lines, because it has to,
Okay,
I believe
okay.
it should be neat and or rather than
Yes,
just doing
yes,
a
yes. Sorry about that. So if you want to, you can come here where you have your tools. You can select your tools. So let's start with if we're using a square, for example. So if you come here, you select a square. I'm using my laptop. Yes, laptop, desktop, anyone. I'm using my laptop, I'm using my desktop. So all what I do was I'm using my keypad. I'm not using a mouse currently. I'm using a keypad on my laptop. So let me start from the beginning, sorry. So I'm just moving my arrow. So these are where you have your navigation or your tools. You can use a FigJam. So the first tool I need is I need to probably bring out a square. So this is a square. So all I have to come, this is where I see my shapes to use. So I can tap on it. Once I tap on it, I can see different tools. So I'll select a square. So if I tap and select a square, I can bring it here, just move it. When you're moving it, you see that you can see a plus sign and also like a fence image of the square object showing. So I can just decide to just tap on my keypad and then it just automatically puts it in. Or I can decide to, let me come back and select it. When I select it, I can decide to left click. Once I left click on my keypad, I move it. Once I move it, I'm dragging my, once I move it, I'm dragging my, I drag it like I'm still clicked on the left part of my keypad. When you mean left click, I'm clicking on my left click. Then I'm just moving around the keypad. So I can decide to drag it to just form any shape or any distance I want at that particular point in time. So once I do that, I can decide to drag it to be as long as I want it to be or anyone. Then I leave it. So that's what you have there. Then you can decide to come and type. Let me zoom it in so we can see what we need to see. Then once you are done, you see add text. It just shows you this add text right up. So you cannot decide to type if you want to type. Type anything you want to type. So let me type okay, let me type what I have here. So you can just go to your text, type. So once you type, you're done typing. You can increase the size of this text. Once you are tapped on the text, you already see these navigations you are seeing at the top with this black background is for that text you have on, or that text you typed at the end of the day. So let me highlight it because I want to make some corrections to it. So for highlighting, I just double tap on my keypad. Once I tap, I'm highlighted on it. I think I'm going to increase the size because it's looking small. Let me just increase it a little bit so it's more good. Yeah, so I just increase the size extra large. You can decide to change the font if you want to. Nothing much fancy because this is not, this is just a, so you can decide to change the color, change the line height and all of that. So once I'm done with this first one, so once you click on it or once you tap on that box, you take note of your saying once you hover around, you see this, you see this, or like all this now, you see this button, icon, anyone that pop up. If you come here, you see it here too. If you come here, you see it here too. If you come here, you see it here too. Just like that. Let me take this off. I don't want it to be interfering with this other stuff I have here. Yeah, let's just be on the phone. So if you hover around, when I'm saying hover, like move around and all of those stuff, you see this comes up. You come here, you see this comes up. You come here, you see this comes up. You come here, you see this comes up likewise. So if you press on anyone, it just automatically brings out another box or another direction and all of that. Then once it does that, you now automatically, if you zoom in more, you now automatically see that there is a connection from that particular edge you clicked on. Likewise, if you come here, you click on this one again. If you just tap on it, it brings out another one. But if you don't want it to even bring out, you can decide to just, let me delete it. You can decide to come and add your own, whatever you want to add. Probably you want to add a line. You can click on your connector, curved connector, bent connector, anyone you want to add. You can come here. You want to add the connector from here. Can always zoom in. Oh, the way I'm zooming in, my keypad, I'm just dragging it in or zooming it in. That's what I'm doing. Oh my God, sorry guys. Okay. So now I need this to connect from delete, delete. So I need a connector to come from here. So all I did was I tapped on this, I came here. Remember I said you can see an arrow here. I dragged it out. So right click, I'm still right clicked. Why I'm moving anything or dragging anything? Sorry, not right click. I have to make sure I'm left clicked on my keypad. Since I said I'm using a keypad, I'm not using a mouse. Right clicked on my left clicked on my keypad, and then I'm moving my arrow or cursor around. So you can drag it, move it around. Probably you want it to come down here. So once you do that, you leave it. So once you leave it, you see this black thing pops up. So you can decide to add, oh my God. So you can decide to add any shape you want to add. You select, you add it, then you can come in and type your next text that you want to type. Let me type my I think there's something missing. That's why I showing the red line. So you can decide to move this one. Probably I want you to be here. I don't want it to be here. So I can come here and decide to delete. Once you tap on that connector, you can delete it. Just press delete. It goes away. I can decide to put another connector again. Probably I want it to be from here to here. So I'll just tap this, and then it automatically gives it that connection at the end of the day. I can decide to increase this so that the screen shows fully. So this was the one I said I added earlier. Let me just delete it. So from here now, you can come again, decide to add another connector, and decide to just add another one. You can change the shape if you want to. Have you guys been hearing me?
No. No, your mic has
God,
been
I've been
muted.
talking since, and I just realized my mic has been muted.
So we are not hearing.
And nobody could unmute their mic and say something. Jesus Christ. And I'm talking for almost 15 minutes. Ha! So what have you guys been seeing or seeing happening? And I was not even on the call interface. I was on my FigJam doing whatever I was doing. Generally, I've been going and everybody just kept quiet. Nobody could unmute their mic and say, I am not hearing you.
Some of us are thinking.
We love that you just unmute your mic intentionally to
We
finish
felt you were
what you
having it.
I
You're
decide.
know.
trying to
I was saying
focus.
I was not on the. I know that there were comments coming in. I was hearing the sound, but I was not on my Google Meet interface to say, okay, let me check what they are saying. I just felt like, okay, it's question after the call and all. And my mic has been
But
muted,
we
and I've been
understanding,
talking
Sha.
since.
But
Oh
we understanding
Jesus!
what you were doing, man.
Okay, Esther, are you on this call? You did not even drag my attention to. Oh, okay, my mic is muted or something. So I just noticed now and just saw it. I was like, and I was just focused on doing what I was doing on here. Okay, let me just recap or come again with what I was saying. So I did all of this. So I was like, if you want to design, you can come here, you see your shape. Once you see your shape, you select any of them. You can select any of your shape. I think the first one I selected was a square, which I brought here and tapped my splash screen. After that, I brought out, I said, when you zoom in, you see all these 1, 2, 3, 4 dots or 4 connectors, so you can bring them out. So I tried to bring another one, added my on-body screen. Then from that on-body screen, I brought out this one. Let me still shift this out a little bit. Then I brought this, so I said you can unjot your on body screen. You can either decide to see you log in or you sign up. So when you're done logging in or signing up, it takes you to your home screen. So I came here and then I connected what I have here, because from your login screen you go to, if you are done, if you click on login and you follow up the whole login process and all of that, it takes you to your home screen. If you click on sign up, you follow up the whole sign up process, it takes you to your home screen, which is still found on your on-body screen. And after that, your on-body screen, what you're supposed to see next, when you click on either of the decision or either of the process, is your home screen. So I just connected both of them, and then you come, it takes you, yeah. So from your home screen now, you can decide to continue and all of that. So you already have this connector that you can just decide to tap, another one comes out, and you can decide to change the image, change everything. You can decide to change the color too. You have your color palette here. You can decide to change your color to the color you want and all of that. So does anybody have any question?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. And please, can you show us how to put those connectors again?
Can you what?
Like, please, can you show us how to put those connectors again?
How to put the connector? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I said, okay, let me start from this other one since there's nothing below it. So you have like once you hover around, okay, yeah, I think that was the word I was using when my mic was muted and nobody was hearing me. Once you hover around this shape you have here at this particular point in time, you can see, like once what is hovering, like just moving around, moving your cursor around, you see your connector, you see it. So if you left click, I'm using my desktop to do what I'm doing, and I'm using the keypad on my desktop. I'm not using a mouse or an external mouse. So if you left click, and then once you left click, you can move anyone, you can move it. So I'm left click right now on my keypad, and I'm just moving my cursor or moving this plus sign or arrow you can see about. So once you left click, you can drag it out. So once you drag it out, the next thing that does is this shape, this thing pops up. So you can select any shape you want to appear next because it already just pops up. So you can select from there. So if you select anyone, you tap on it, it automatically just gives it that particular shape. So you can type in your text and all. So I just typed in search. Then you can come again. Probably you want to add another connector. You can come from here. You right click or left click, and then you can decide to, if you want to connect it to here, you can connect it to here. If you have another thing you want to connect it to, you can do likewise. Then if you want to, you can still decide to say, okay, probably from your home screen, you can go back to, you say you want to go back to, if you want to go back here,
We can't hear you again.
okay. From your home screen, you can decide to bring another connector, and probably you say you want to go back to your own body. Okay, no, not on body. I'm just showing you guys if you want to connect something back to another place. So you can still drag the connector to go back to where you want it to go back to. So that's just how I brought out each line or each connector. Then you can decide to change the color. If you want to change color, you can come here, change the color. If you want to change the text, you can come here, change the text and all of that. Does anybody have any other question?
Yes, I have question. All right, thank you, ma. From the function of what I can deduce from the function of this FigJam that you just mentioned. So I just want to confirm if the primary function of this FigJam is for information architecture. I just want to confirm if that is the primary function.
Okay, thank you. Oluwatoyin. Have you been in the classes day one?
Yes, at some point I went off, but I'm following
Okay.
class.
Okay, so yeah, no, the primary function of FigJam is not for information architecture. You can use FigJam to do a whole lot of things, but one of them is information architecture. FigJam is just like a digital workspace. I said this in, I think, the very first class or so. I talked about FigJam. That's why I asked you if you've been in the class. It's just like a digital workspace where you can collate all your ideas, put your ideas, take note of them, write them down, create a lot of things. Like if you come to this, your tools section now that you can see on your FigJam, on this down part of your FigJam, you can see sticky notes. If you click on these sticky notes and then just tap it, everything you're doing on FigJam, you can do them with pen and paper. That's just something you know. That's why I say it's like a digital workspace. Everything you are doing on your FigJam, you can decide to do them with a pen and paper at the end of the day. But you are doing it here because one major aim is the fact that it's collaborative. You can do whatever you want to do here, send it to people, your team members. If you're working in a team, send it to them and they will be able to access it, drop a comment, go through what you have, share your file, share your work. So that's one major aim of FigJam at the end of the day. So no, it's not just information architecture, it's not the primary thing. That is why you have after this class, you're supposed to go back, go through the tool, look, just be clicking on things, going through things, seeing how things are done, not just only what I'm teaching in class or what I make mention of in class at the end of the day. I don't know if I answered your question, Tony. So is there any other question or we can move on? So okay, I'm going to be sharing, I think more, okay, I need to share my slide. So please, in case of next time, if I'm doing something if I'm explaining something, please, let's make sure you're hearing me because it's a very important part of the class. If it's just a slide, okay, yes, it's a slide. Probably I'm just reading what's in the slide. But if I'm doing a hands-on practical or something, make sure you're hearing me and all. So we're going to be looking at visual design principle. So I think most of the thing we'll be talking about are more UX related, user persona, research, do your finding, carry out question, do this, do that. So most of them are UX related. So when you talk about visual design, why I use the word visual design is because you're talking about what you see with your eye, what your eye can see or what your eye can pick at the end of the day. That's what you mean by visual and design. So let me just move into so these are some of the softwares you can use in UI design. Like I made mention of this in the first class also, that UI design is found under visual design. Other design, you can still see other visual design and graphic design and the rest. So most of all the softwares I'm making mention of, you can use them to do your UI design. You can use them to do design flyers for your graphic design. You can use them to it's all work hand in hand. So we have your Adobe XD, you have your Sketch, you have your Adobe Illustrator, you have your Figma, you have your prototype. So during the course of this class, the tool we're going to be looking at is Figma. Although before now, we've looked at Figma, and the part of Figma we looked at was FigJam. But remember, I kept on saying we are still going to come back to look at Figma itself. We are still going to come back to look at Figma itself and the main aim or the main work Figma does or carry out. So that's what we're coming back to look at. So this is Figma, and then this was just a screenshot of the entire interface I added at the end of the day. Then we have so these are just some visual design, is it principle or guide that you should know to help you when designing, especially when it comes to your UI design. You have your color theory, typography, shapes, layouts, and the rest. So before we talk about this one, I'm going to be interchanging between screens. So let's look at this. So let's look at our Figma software. First of all, I'm going to go through it and explain some things before coming back to the distance. So I believe by now, this is not the first time you are hearing of Figma, or this is not the first time you should be hearing of Figma. Okay, I'm going to share a different, let me stop sharing this. I'm going to share my browser instead. So I'm going to be sharing I'm trying to share a browser itself. Okay, yeah, I've seen what I want to share. Yeah, I just want to share my Chrome browser so we can follow the process from scratch. So Figma has an app. It has a desktop app. Yes, if you go to wherever you download your apps from, on your desktop or on your laptop, search for Figma, you're going to see the desktop app. But most times I don't make use of the desktop app because it lags or it hangs a lot. It doesn't mean that the browser does not hang. It still hangs, but it's not as the way the desktop app does. Then it has a mobile app. Yes, Figma has a mobile app, but you cannot design on the mobile with the mobile app. You can't do a design with the mobile app. FigJam, you can, for the mobile version, so on FigJam too, you can't design. You can only just view your work and all of that. But if you are using an iPad, you can't design on Figma. You can't design anything on Figma. But if it's FigJam, if you want to do anything on FigJam, you can do whatever you want to do on FigJam on an iPad version of the software. So just know that. So if you want to go to Figma, all you have to do, I think by now everybody should have a Figma account. You can easily just sign up to Figma with your Google, with like your Gmail and everything, so that when you are logged in on any particular browser, on any device, as long as it's your Gmail that is signed in on that browser, you can easily access Figma and do whatever work you want to do. So once you just search for it, at the end of the day, you are going to see it. It was the last search result I have. That's why you can see it here, but you can still just type it. So once you type it, you see it, click on it. I think I already have an account here, so it's not going to show me the whole sign up and sign in process. It's just going to take me straight to my interface. If you don't have an account or if you've not signed in, it's going to show you, probably it's going to show you their websites. Yes, that's what I want to look for. Their web page. So just follow the normal sign up or sign in processes and then sign in and you are good to go. But if not, this is what it's going to show you. So this part is where you see your work. You see all your work you've done. You see all your projects and all of that. For now, I don't think I have any major work or any project on this particular account, because I have two Gmail accounts, my work Gmail and my
We can't see your
personal
screen, Ma.
Gmail.
Ma, we can see your screen.
Okay, can others see my screen, please? If you can see, just react.
Okay, I can see your screen now.
Okay, others can, please. If you
I
can
just see
see from your end.
double browser.
If you can't see my screen, is for your end. I believe other people can see it, or it's just that the network is slow, it's trying to catch up on your end. You can probably just try and rejoin. So as I was saying, this is my FigJam. Anything you do here, you're going to see it. Then you have your team accounts. Figma works in team. You can decide to create a new team. You have Kenny Achije's team. You can decide to create a new one. Or I have just one here. Then you have your drafts. You have all projects. You have resources, trash. It's all written there, so you can see and be visible with it or see what's happening with it. Then you have your team project. So for this team project, now if you click on it, this team project, I think it has just only 3 free. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember. It has just only 3 free access. But if you want to do more than that, you have to pay. But as long as whatever you're doing now, you can make use of your drafts. If you're on your draft, you can open as many files as possible as you want to open. I call this file, like if you open one of them is a file, if you open one of them is a file. So you can open as many files as possible. Then you have your community, you have your Figma community, where you can see, please, if your mic is on, can you mute it? So you have your Figma community. This Figma community, you can use it to search for anything you want. You can see free templates, free ideas, free resources to make use of it, all of that. So that's like the Figma community that you have here. You can see search. Once you click on your search for anything you want to, anything relating to whatever you want to do on that Figma at that point in time. Just type in the keyword, it shows you a results. So these are samples here already. So let's go back to our draft. All projects. So this all projects, you are going to see both your team projects, the ones in your draft, resources. So let me go back to the draft. So for my draft, it's only the students you are seeing here now, because I just opened, or this is like, I just opened this new Figma with my work Gmail. That's why you're seeing this. But for my own personal Gmail accounts, you will see that if you open here, you see a lot of things. So when you come here, you can see design. So these are like, will I say Figma is like the parent company or the father at the end of the day. Then these are like the children that you can see inside or make use of at the end of the day. Before, and one thing about Figma is that they keep releasing new features every day, and that's why it's like the most popular or the most common design tool at the end of the day. People even use Figma for flyer design. People use Figma for illustration. People use Figma to do a lot of things. It's not just limited to designing mobile app and websites. No, they use it for a lot of things because they are bringing new feature every day. Initially, it was just FigJam that was the only sub tool. I believe you guys can see my screen. You can see this up part of what I'm talking about here. It was just FigJam that was the only sub tool that was there, but as time went on, they brought slides, they brought Figma slides. The slides I've been using to teach you guys since the beginning of this class, they were all created in Figma. So yeah, it's Figma slides I'm using. They brought BOFs, they brought sites. You can actually create a site on Figma and share. They brought Make. Figma Make is just like the AI version of Figma, the chat GPT of Figma. Yes, you can use AI to create your designs, take it to like your main design screen, design whatever, correct it and all of that. So they bring new feature every day, and that's why it's like one of the most popular and collaborative too, and it's easy to use and collaborative too. Collaborative in the sense that you can share your file, people can drop comments, you can share it to a team. In this team project, if you are using this team project, you can create one file, and on that particular file, you have 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 100 accounts designing on that particular file at that point in time. That's how this team project works. But for drafts, I think for drafts, I'll open it. But for drafts, the only thing you can do on draft is to just create your design file. Although you can share it, but another person cannot have access to change the design or edit your design. The only thing they can do is to probably drop a comment at that point in time on your design file. So let's open a particular design file. So the first one I'm going to open is design. If you want to open, you just click on it. Once you click on it, you see a plus sign. You click and then it just loads and it just shows you that loading this thing and then it opens. So you saw that before I opened my design file, I made sure I was on my drafts, because if you are on your team project and you open file, it has a limit. It gets a particular limit. You cannot open any file you want to open. So for just the course of this class and your personal work you want to do, work with your drafts is free. You can open as many draft file as possible from now till whenever, and you can do whatever you want to do on there, so you can work with that. So this is how your Figma canvas or design canvas or interface looks like at the end of the day when you've opened it or when you're done opening it. So you see, yeah, even something's already popping up. You see so you have this part, you have two sides, you have this empty black screen. When you open your own, it might be showing white. The only reason you show it black is because my desktop is in black mode. So when you open your own, don't be surprised I show you another thing. And I hope you guys are probably with your laptop or something following what I'm doing at the end of the day. So you have your left-hand side, you have your right-hand side, and then you have your blank canvas where you see everything you want to see. So I'm just going to be going through an overview of the things that you might see. So here is just more like settings and all of those stuff. Then untitled, you can decide to name that particular file you're on. You can decide to name that file you're on, so that, because if you go back to your Figma, you can search for it. Yes, you can search for it. So use good you name, so you'll not be looking for one thing on the other. All I did was just make sure I'm highlighted on it. So just tap. So you can name your file, draft. You can see that it's indicating free here. So whatever I'm doing here is free. So if you want to pay, these are the plans. You can search for it later or see. But if you don't pay, I'm just trying to tell you that if you are not using the paid version, it doesn't stop you from doing or achieving whatever you want to achieve. No, it does not. And that's why people still jump to Figma, because the free plan still gives you something to do, and you can still do your design, ship it to your developer or hand off to your developer. The developer can still develop it or code it the way it's meant to be at the end of the day. It doesn't spoil anything. So yeah, these are the plans. Let me cancel. I just tapped on that. Then this is your pages. So here you have page 1. So on a particular file, you can open as many pages as possible. On a particular file, you can open as many pages as possible. You can open page 1. You can decide to click on it. Click on this plus sign here. Open page 2. The only thing is just that it goes to another page. Open page 3. So you can open as many. I don't know what is the. I don't know. I don't think there's like a maximum. I don't think there's like a maximum number of. Okay, you guys say you can't see my screen. Please, can others see my screen? Okay, thank you so much. So if you cannot see my screen, please check your network. So you can open as many pages as possible. I don't know what is the maximum number of page. I've not gotten to that to see what the maximum number of page is. Then you can see your assets. So assets are more like, just the name implies, I don't know how to explain it more. Just the name implies, assets are more like things that are already there for you to use. Those are assets. So you can see assets to try on iOS and iPad, OS 26, material, design, simple design system, design faster with UI kits. So assets are more like, they're just resources that are already made available by the Figma that you are on to use before you start designing. So let me go back to my file. So that's that for whatever you're seeing here. I've not added any other thing. So this was what just came that I'm trying to explain. Then you have your, so okay, this part is more like where you have the settings. Yes, this is where you have your settings. These parts, I usually call this part the design tree of when you're on Figma. This is like your design tree. Then this is where you have like your settings. Just please be following my cursor, this arrow at the end of the day, because that's what I'm going to be using. So you have your page. So this is the background color. This is the background color of this particular black canvas you're seeing. So I can decide to change it if I want to. If you want to change it, I just decided to put the color code for white, which is FFF. So you can decide to change it if you want to change it. Variables, style, exports. There's none of these that are here already. So all these ones you can decide to create. So once you create, okay, export is if you want to export whatever is on this particular canvas, but I'm not exporting anything because I've not put anything. It's empty. So there's nothing to export there. So that's that. Then prototype. We're going to come to prototype. This is going to be explained at the end of the day when we have something on here, but we don't have anything here. So I'm not going to explain this in full, but we're going to come into it. But this is where you can see your prototype. This is your prototype settings. This is where you can see your devices for your prototype settings. Prototype is just like viewing at the end of the day. You can view the actual work or view the way your work is at the way the work was supposed to be from the developer and all of that. You can view it in your prototype. So that's just what prototype is all about. So we're going to look at it when that time comes. Then what else? Okay, next we have now is your tools. Just like the way in FigJam, you saw your tools and the rest. In Figma, this is where you have your tools. So you have move. So this is the particular tool I'm on right now that I've been using to move around, move. Then you have your hand tool. So this hand tool, now if I had something on here, you would have been able to see how this hand tool work, but I don't have anything on here. Then scale. So scale too is used to, like, if you have something, objects or anything on here, you can use that particular tool to like scale it to size, rescale it, increase it, reduce it, all of those stuff. So then we have your frame, section, slides. So this is where you have your frame. So the first thing is your frame. If you tap on your frame, if you tap on that frame, first of all, this part changes. So you can see different phone frames to select from. You can see iPhone, like depending on what you want to design. If you are designing for mobile, you can select a particular mobile phone, because whatever you put in that frame at that particular point in time is what your design is going to look like or replicate at the end of the day. So you can select anyone. If you are designing for tablets, designing for desktop, designing for presentation. So if you want to even design for if you want to design for presentation, sorry, you can as well try Figma slides, because it has a very more detailed and easy way to navigate that. If you want to design for Apple Watch, paper, social media, like I told you, you can even use Figma to design your normal flyers and all of those stuff. Then Figma community, you can go to if you want to design something for Figma community, archive. So I think these were old what do I call it? Old frame sizes they have that they are probably archiving. So that's what is in archive. So if you come here, you can select a particular phone frame. Once you tap on it, it automatically just shows on your desktop or on your canvas. Yeah, that's what it happens. But if you don't want to select in phone frame, you can still tap on your frame. For shortcuts on your keyboard, if you press F on your keyboard, your frame pops up, and then you see this plus sign. I don't know if you are seeing it, but you see a plus sign, and then you can still create your own frame size. You can left click. Once you left click, you move around. Once you left click, you drag, drag to anywhere, any distance, any height, any length, whatever you want to create. And then once you leave it, it automatically creates your frame size. Okay, so you have your, okay, I just want to briefly go over all these tools, because we're going to do a practical hands-on design, and that is going to explain it more. So I don't want to, even though it's not, okay, I think we have just about, okay, even though it's not here, because I still have to go back to the slide and talk about the many things we have. We're still going to do a practical hands-on design in the next class. So we have rectangle, you have line, you have arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, image. So all of these are shapes you can add at the end of the day. So you can decide to add all the shapes to create whatever you want to create. Then you have your image / video. So if you want to add a particular image from your desktop or from your computer or from what you're using, you can go, it shows you this, it shows you your files. I don't think that is projecting. Why is that so? It's also show you, it shows you your file, like your file, or it takes you to your desktop or your file in your computer. So you can select your image you want to select from at the end of the day and then impute it. Then you have your pen tool, you have your text to write a text, you have your comments. So you can decide to drop a comment. Probably you're sharing your file to somebody or somebody share their own to you, anyone, you can drop a comment. Then you have your, this is more like resources, where you can see things to use. You can see your assets. You can see plugins and widgets. If you add, you see them. So this is where you see tools, resources to make use of at the end of the day. Then draw, if you want to draw. Then design. Then on this same interface, you can go to dev mode. So this is more like for developers. Because if you're a developer, you're supposed to have like a Figma account too, because when they share the Figma, when they share the designs to you, the UI designs to you at the end of the day, on your own end, you can go to dev mode and see the way some things are in terms of the codes you can use for certain parts of the design and all of that. Back to design mode. Thank you. So that's just like a brief. Okay, so if you finally add something to your Canva, this is what happens. Remember I said here is your design tree. Design tree in the sense that anything you are putting in this your Canva, you see it here. This is where you see it. This is where you're able to track it. This is where you're able to monitor whatever is happening. Because the more you're putting, the more it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. You're seeing a lot of things. So right now you can see frame 1. This frame 1 was this frame I added, showing you here. Frame iPhone 17 1. This was the other frame I added here. So if you click on a particular frame, you come here, you see the settings. So you are seeing all of these. All of these are the settings you can add to just this particular frame you are clicked on at this point in time. I hope you guys are following me, or you are with me. So you can see the position, you can see the layout, you can see the width, height, appearance, the color, stroke, effects, layout, guide, export. So all these are the settings you can add to this particular frame at this particular point in time. If you click on this other frame, these are the settings and how they can be, or what you can add to it at the end of the day. So I'm going to try to share this screen. Please, if you have any question, please ask while I try to go back to sharing this. Ask your question. So before we go into designing something, I would want us to look at some color theory, typography, shapes, layouts that can help you in your design, in your UI design decision process at the end of the day. So you have color theory. I believe if you are involved in any form of design, whether you are even a fashion designer, a graphic designer, a whatever designer, you work with color. Color is like one of the basic or base when it comes to designing. You have to understand how color work. You have to understand color theory. It's not every design that it's not every product you're trying to do that you must use certain colors. There are some products that you can't use a particular color for this, or there are some actions or some features or some button they are trying to put in your design that you can't use a certain color or a particular color at that point in time. So you have to understand how color works, because you are talking about visual design, or you're talking about something that people see in their eye. There are some app or some websites you open and one thing will just, the color looks like the color they use, they are using too many color at the same time. One thing about me, or one thing I tell people, especially those starting out in design, when you are working with a particular design, sometimes just stick to just using 2 colors. Because most times you have your primary color, you have your secondary color, you have your tertiary color. You can just stick to using 2 color, white and probably one other color, probably white and blue only, depending on the product you are designing. But just there are some website or app you go to, they are using blue, they are using green, they are using red. The whole color is looking somehow, especially when it's not properly. I'm not saying you cannot use more than 1 color, more than 2 colors, but when you don't know how to properly arrange them, make them look the way they are meant to look, it becomes too much. So if you don't know how to do that, you can just stick. Nobody is saying don't use 2 colors, so you can just stick to using just 2 colors. Probably just use white, because white and black will always be there in terms of accent colors or neutral color or secondary color. So for your primary color, you can just pick only 1 primary color. Probably you can just pick just 1 primary color and use them, work with white and black. So then you have typography. Typography is a must. You must always see text in whatever you're doing. Whatever this class I'm teaching yourself is text. That is one of the main things, because if you can't see my text or see the way I highlighted or arranged my text, there will be nothing. Whatever you do, this Google Meet class we're using is text that helps you know that, okay, this is what, that is that passes information at the end of the day. So typography is a key in whatever you are doing. So learn to arrange your text, learn to use readable text, visually appealing, because it's essential when you're building an app and someone comes to, they probably come to your web page or come to your landing page and they can't read the first sentence that is on the landing page. or they can't be able to see the first or two sentences that is on that particular landing page? How do you want them to be able to get the information of whatever happens at the end of the day on that particular design or landing page? So typography is key. Make sure you have a good understanding of how typography works, hierarchy, and then hierarchy. Yes, because when you are using a particular font, normally it's called font in Figma. We're still going to look at all of that. So if you're using a particular font, it has certain family. So you can have medium, you can select font size. Probably you can make a font bold, semi-bold, medium, regular. So know where to use some fonts at some particular point in time. For example, now this slide I'm doing, because you can start for anywhere, it doesn't mean you have to be on the UI interface. This slide I'm doing, you can see that when I wrote session 5, color theory, typography, shapes, and layouts, I used a different color. I used a different font weight and size. It's not the same color with color theory, a guide to colors in design. Typography is not the same color. It's not the same size. It's not the same weight, because that's like a heading. So I'm trying to pass more a different information on emphasis on this particular heading compared to other ones. So know when to use certain typography in your design. It helps. So, okay, a guide to typographic design. I believe what I just said is what I already wrote here, Seth. Okay, there are various fonts and typefaces used in designing, which have different fonts. Yeah, I've already said all of this, so I'm not going to go through that again. Then we have shapes. Shapes is a very important. You must learn how to use shapes, because anything you have in this life is based on shape. Even when you're dealing with physical products, your chair, your table, your bed, or your whatever, even to your phone, your power bank, they all dealt with shape. You don't just see it in a zigzag manner or this. They have certain shapes and all of that. Same thing applies to when you are doing your UI designs and all of that. They have certain shapes. Certain shapes, it works in certain way. Even this Google Meet interface that we are on, shapes comes into play. The particular part where you can see me sharing my screen, you can see that there's a certain shape that it's inside. The other parts where you can see those that are on the call, the different people on the call, you can see that there's a certain box. Then you now see a circle again that is showing your image or your profile picture. Then you see a particular circle again that shows your name. So there are shapes that are used to explain certain things. Then when you have your tools where you can unmute your mic or mute your video, whatever you want to do, you can see that they are all in shapes. All your icons are in shapes. So shapes are key in your design, because they actually help in the representation of your design at the end of the day. Then, okay, the importance of shapes, I believe I've already said this. Visual hierarchy. Shapes helps to create a visual hierarchy, directing the user's attention to the most important elements. Functionality. They can represent interactive elements such as buttons, icon, input, feed, aesthetic. Shapes contribute to the overall aesthetic appeal and can reinforce brand. User guidance. Well-designed shape can guide users through an interface. So that's that. Practical application of shapes. So when it comes to UI design, so these are some ways you can actually implement shape, or you can make use of shapes at the end of the day. So you have your buttons. In your buttons, you can use shape a lot. When you want to make use of your buttons, you can use shapes to do your buttons, your icons. Like I made mention of when I was making use of this Google Meet interface we are on safe. On this the buttons you see, or the navigation you see, your mic, your turn on, your comments, react, they are all inside a particular shape. You don't just see them in different ways, or you just see them like that. Then your layout and structure. Shapes helps in layout and structure. So that brings us to layout. So what is layout? Layout refers to the arrangement of visual elements on a page. A good layout guides the user's eye and creates an organized, easy to navigate interface. So layout is more like arrangement. At the end of the day, you don't just have your text, your shape, your whatever you want to put in your UI design, and then you just put them zigzag, or you just put them haphazardly. You just put them anywhere you want to put them. They have to be certain layouts. It helps in alignment, in arrangement, in making things look good to the eye. So you have to arrange your layouts, them arrange the way they are. So you have your grid system. Grid. These are certain layouts you can actually make use of: grid system, alignment, balance, white spacing. So all those things help. On this Google Meet call that you're on, you can see that there are certain layouts. You don't see that, oh, where the guests or those that are on the call, you can see that they are arranged in a certain place. This place that I'm sharing my screen is arranged at the top in a certain place. The place that you can see your navigation buttons or where to unmute your mic or whatever is arranged at a certain place. You do not see that, oh, your mic is at the down part, your turn on your video is at the up part in one other part. So no, you can see that everything is arranged, everything is properly aligned. And that's one thing, that's one key thing you need to take note of when doing a UI design layout. So these are just some, these are like the major things that I just brought out. There are other things that are involved, but when it comes to color, typography, shapes, layouts, they are very key when it comes to UI design that you need to take note of. Okay, then these are just some steps to guide you in designing a UI. Define the color palettes. Okay, I think I make sure of this when I was talking about color theory. Know the color you want to use before jumping into your design. Know which color is your primary color, your secondary color, your accent color, and ensure they are harmonious and accessible. Select typography, select a text. Select a text. So, and make sure when you're selecting a text, you select a text that has different font sizes. What do I mean by font sizes? It has bold, it has semi-bold, it has regular, just like that. Create grid system. So you can create a grid system. This helps you with alignments, design UI elements, create button, form, other interactive elements following the style guide, develop templates. So you can have templates, build templates for common pages, home page, product page, so that you can always just duplicate and reuse if you want to create another page similar to that. Test and iterate. So that's that. So we're going to go back to, let me share this tab. So we're going to go back to this tab. So this is my Figma workspace, and we're going to be designing this. This is an example of what we are going to be designing on this call. I don't know, I believe most of you are with your laptop. If you are not, please, next class, be with your laptop. Because like I made mention, you can only design on your laptop. And as I'm doing it, I want you guys to follow, not just, although I'll give assignments, but apart from giving assignments while I am on the call, please do where to follow. So this is a simple sign up page that we are going to be designing from scratch. We are going to be designing this, although I just already designed this briefly and duplicated it here so you can see what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be redesigning this. I'm going to create a page, another page. I'm just going to come here. I create another page. So the first thing we're going to do, because we already have a design of what we want here in mind, but if that's not the case, if I was working on a mobile application, at the end of the one thing I do is sketch. Although I said I was going to talk about sketch when I'm talking about wireframing, and that's like in the next class or in the next session. But let me just say it here. I do sketch with my pen and paper. I sketch how my screens are meant to look like, or how they are meant to be. I draw my frame with pen and paper. I'll draw the frame there, write what I want to write, draw an image there, and all of those stuff. I do sketching. We're going to look at that in the next class. So let me just go into doing what I want to do. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to select a frame. So I'm going to select my frame. I come here. I'm going to select a phone frame. So I'm going to select a system for
I see your screen. I can't see your
I can't see
screen.
your phone.
Ah,
Please, can you guys see my screen? Okay, if you
No,
can't see
Mike.
my screen, please check from your end. If you can't see my
It's just not
screen, if you can't see my
while
screen,
you are
please check from
selecting.
my end. So I've selected my phone screen. I selected Assistant Pro, and you might be wondering, why did I select that? Honestly speaking, there is no specific reason I can tell you as to why I selected that. You can select other ones, but make sure if you are designing, please, if you are designing, especially if you are doing a mobile design, if you are selecting a frame, always select, don't make use of Android. Please always select an iPhone frame. If you are designing for desktop, just if you are on this, if you are designing for web or for desktop, we're going to still look at that. Select your desktop here. Don't select MacBook or whatever. Select your normal desktop size. So yeah, sorry. So I've selected my frame. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to add a grid, because I want to design, I want to put things inside this frame, but I will not just come and start putting them, start dumping whatever I want to dump inside. No, I will select a grid system that helps me align my work properly, or put whatever I want to put in place at different points in time. So I'm going to select my grid system, I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on this. So if you're not clicked on it, you're not going to see all these things. Remember, I said these are like the settings. So if you're not clicked on this, you're not going to see it. If you are just clicked on nothing, this is what you're going to see here. You're not going to see the settings of this one. So just make sure you're clicked on it. Then you go to your layout guide to add the particular grid line or grid system I want to add to it. So I'll come here and I'll press on the plus sign. One thing about Figma is that even, let me remove this. I'm trying to show you guys something. One thing about Figma is that even when you're on it doing what you want to do, like just hover around anything, a pop-up or a write-up will pop up. A write-up will show what that particular thing is about. So it's easy for you to navigate or easy for you to understand what you want to do at that particular point in time, or what you want to do there. So I'm going to tap on add. I'm going to tap on that plus sign. Yes, I want to add a layout grid. So I'll tap on it. Once I tap on it, you can see this. Let me drag this thing up. You can just left click rather, and then drag it up. So let me zoom this in too, so we can be seeing what we are doing. So you can see your grid, columns, row. So I'm going to add a column to it. I don't work with this grid. There is no reason. If you are doing your own, you can decide to add it. Then there's row. I don't work with row. I use just only column. So I'm going to select the column. Then you have your count. So you can decide to change it. Once you change it, you see how it reflects at the end of the day. You have your stretch. I don't change this. That's just my own. I don't change it. I just leave it like that. Then you have your margin. You can decide to change. Margin gives, that's like the white spacing you have inside. I'm not doing much of a change to that. I'm just leaving it. Then you have your gutter. You can decide to, I'm not making changes to that. I'm just leaving it the way it is. So the only thing I changed here now is column. I selected column. Count, I changed it to 8. So that's the only thing I changed. So I can press that this thing and remove it. So now I've created my layout grid, or I've added a grid. I'm not going to change the color, the background color, because it's already white, and that's what I want to stick with for now for this particular design we're doing. So the next thing I'm going to do, okay, I'm just going to come here. Since I don't have a sketch here, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And no, I'm not doing that again. Let's just continue doing it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add my image. So like I said, I'm designing a sign-up screen. Sign-up screen is literally when you want to sign up in a particular app. So you can come here and then decide to add an image. Before adding that image, I'm going to just draw a empty box or rectangle at this particular point that the image is meant to be. So to do that, I'm going to click on my rectangle. You can click on rectangle, you can click on frame, anyone. And there are shortcuts on your keyboard to click on all those stuff. Instead of coming to where you have your tools here to navigate, I'm going to use the shortcuts. I'm just going to press arrow on my keyboard. When I press arrow, and it then shows me this plus sign. When it shows this plus sign, it means you can activate something. You can activate anything you want to do. So I'm just going to drag, left clicked on my keyboard, then I'll just make sure I drag it, and then I'm just arranging it. Like, you can just decide to arrange it. You can just decide to arrange it. So you can just decide to arrange it. You can decide to increase. You can actually still left click, and then I believe we're seeing this arrow that looks like this. So you can drag it, you can take it back. Whatever you want to do, you can do anyone. You can do anyone for that. And then that's it. So now I remember I said what I want to do is to add an image. This is what we have here. So you can close your layout grid though. It's not a must that it must be shining in whatever you're designing. No, it's not a must. The only reason it is there is to give you guidance on what you are doing at the end of the day. So to close it, you can come here to where you have this your layout grid and close this eye, and it closes. Or what you can decide to do is press shift, click on shift on your keyboard and then press G. So you can press shift and then press G on your keyboard, shift G. So once you press that, it closes the layout grid. That's like shortcuts. So there are shortcuts in Figma that I think when you come to this particular. So yeah, okay, I just want to show you guys how to close the layout grid. So next thing what we want to do now is to add an image. I'm just redesigning this. This is what I'm designing there. So I'll add an image. So how do I add an image? So before the image, we have a text. So I'm going to add that text. So to add the text, just the way you have your text, you press on T. You can press on T, just like the way I clicked on this text. Now you can see text and then you can see T by the side. So once you press on T on your keyboard, your text, you can type your text. So you can see this plus sign. This plus sign is literally showing you that you are not in, you are in a mood, or it's already set for you to add something that you want to add. You are not just in the mood or in the version that you will just be moving around. So I can decide to just tap. Once I tap, I just tap my keypad Once you do that, let me zoom in so we can be seeing. You see this line that is popping, that is showing, is blinking. It means, okay, now you can type your text, or now you can do what you want to do. So I'm going to type my text. Sign up. So now I've typed my text. So once you type your text, and you see I'm doing everything inside my frame, so that it's easy. And once I'm doing everything inside my frame, once you come back to this particular part that I said is your design tree, like now you can see this phone. You can see everything I'm already adding. You can see sign up. You can see rectangle one. So these are everything I'm added to just this particular frame. And you can see that all of them are inside this particular frame. If I come here and decide to cover this, pull down and pull up arrow, you can see everything that's there. If I say I want to move this frame now, you can see everything is moving. So I'm just putting everything inside the frame, so it will be way much easier for me to arrange and all of that. So let's come back to the sign up. So you can, once you click on your sign up, remember I said once you have clicked on anything, you get to see the settings here. So I come back to my sign up, I see the settings here. So you can see your typography. You can decide to change the fonts. I think it just automatically took the fonts that was already set for what was on that particular file. So you can decide to change it. There are a lot of fonts. Anyone works. Anyone works. So I'm going to change it. So what's that font again? Lato. No, is Lato. Just using fonts I know off my head. Any font. So I'm selecting this one. I selected this one to be able to see. So this is Lato. And when you've selected that particular font, you can come here. Remember we talked about the font weights. So when you click on here, these are like the different weights. So just one particular font, so it has this different weights. It has medium, semi-bold, bold, extra bold, black. Like if you click on any of them, you can see how the text weight is changing. You have your extra bold, you have your bold, you have your medium, so it changes. You have your italic, medium, anyone. So I'm thinking for this, I'm just going to stick with medium, since this is meant to be like a mini hair thing from when we're redesigning, or semi-bold. Then you have your size. This is your font size. So you can decide to use any size. You can decide to type in the size too that you might want to use. So yes, this is your font size. So I'm going to type in 18. So to type, you can just come here, type it, backspace 18, enter, put what you want, and then it enters. And then it enters. So that's my font. Then what else again? Okay, alignment, most of all these other ones, because I just have a write-up in one line, so you might not really see how they look like. So one thing I'm going to do is, since this is inside my frame, I'm going to come back here. I'm still typed on my text, so but I'm going to bring it to align horizontal. So this, what is align horizontal does is that it puts it in the middle of that frame. You can decide, you can click anyone, you can align left, Once you align it left, it takes you to the ending of that frame. You can align horizontal, the middle, align right, the right, top, middle, just like that. So I'm going to put it align horizontal. Then I think I'm going to bring it back up. But I don't want it to be very, very, very up, please. Yeah, somewhere here works. And then I'm aligning it to the center. So yes, then you have your color palette. So you can decide to change it. So this fill is where you press on. This fill is more like where you see your color. Let me remove my layout grid. Oh, you see what they do. So you can decide to click on this black. If you know your color code, or if you have the color code, you can input it here. If not, you don't know a color code, but you have a particular color. All you have to do is come here, tap on this color you're seeing here already, that particular color. Once you tap on it, it shows you your color palette. So when it shows you your color palette, you can then navigate it. You can decide to change the color. There are different colors here you can choose from and then work. But make sure that if you are having a white background, don't go and choose a light color that for accessibility's sake, that somebody will not be able to read or somebody will not be able to see. Make sure you're using a color that is bold and relates to the brand color that you are working with at the end of the day. So I'm going to use blue. I don't have any color code saved in my head, and I did not create a style guide for this because I'm just doing a freehand, although we're still going to look at how to create a style guide and all. So I'm just going to select this. So let me select this other blue. So that's the color I'm selecting for that. So I think I'm going to, what else am I going to do again? I'm going to change this and make it more bold. And I think I don't want a capital letter right up. Instead of going to type everything again, I can come here and change it to title case. I just came here on these two buttons. Please just looking at wherever my arrow is pointing. That is the most important thing right now. Look at where my arrow is going to, my cursor is going to on that screen that you can see that is being shared to you in front of your phone or your device right now. So go to this type setting. Once I go here, I can just change it here, change the title case. Why is it not changing? I want to change. Okay, is it okay? Is this one I'm supposed to press? I want to change it to make it capital letter and then small letter, but it's still just showing capital letter. It's only the small letter that is changing. So okay, I'll choose just this, and then I just come here and retype this to cap log. Now it's not typed to cap log again because I've selected this one. So I'm just gonna leave it the way it was before and then type everything through my keyboard. Yeah, so I think I prefer this than the one that was in cap locks. No reason why, but it's just my preference. So the next thing I'm supposed to do is add an image. So to add an image, you can use a plugin. You can decide to add an image from a gallery or from the images you have already. So you can come here, you can see image/video. Once you click on it, it shows your files in your desktop. I don't know why it's not projecting or why it's not showing that. So from it, From it, you can decide to add an image if you have an image in your file, or you can decide to use a plugin. Me, I already have a plugin saved on this file. So if I right click, I can come to where I have plugin. Where is that again? Yeah, look at it. And then I see all my plugins. These are all my saved plugins. Oh, it does let. These are all my saved plugins I can see and make use of. But if you are just on Figma for the first time and you don't have saved plugins, if you right click and go to plugins, you will not see all those things. So instead, what do? You come here, come to where you're seeing your actions. On these actions, you can see your plugins to make use of. What do I need? I need an image. Instead of me going to my file, leaving my Figma file, going to Google, going to my browser, downloading an image, saving it to my file, coming to opening my file for Figma and getting my image, and all of those stuff. I can just collect an image from inside my Figma workspace I'm on. Except the image you want to use is like a brand image, is the image for the product, or a product image you already have also for what you are designing, or for the company you are designing already, then you can go to that side. But if not, if it's just probably you're looking for just an illustration or a general image to make use of, you can make use of this, or you can use this. So you have your, you can then go to your plugin, search. So I'm going to search for story set. Okay, it's already here. But if you are not seeing it there on your own end, just type story set. You can just tap story sets, and then you see it by free pick. That works. So although me, I already have my own save, that is why it's showing. It might show. So when you type it, just click on this 3 icon. I think you don't even have to click on the 3 icon. If you just tap on it, you see it, and then it works. I think it's trying to load. Most times when you're using Figma, yeah, one thing I should say is that Figma require internet connection when you are designing. If you off your data or you off your internet connection, the problem or what might happen at the end of the day is that your work might not save, and something might happen. Your laptop goes off, or something just happens, your laptop crashes, it goes off, and all of those stuff. When you on it back, you might not actually see that particular work that you were doing, or that particular thing you were working on at that point in time, because your internet was not connected, so it did not automatically connect. Sorry, I think that this thing has not still loaded. Let me type it again. So most times, just make sure you have internet connection while designing something. If not, you can still decide to off your internet and continue designing, but when you need to load some things, it will not load. Or when you need to save something, it will not save. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to be searching for plugins. Story sets. Okay, instead of just typing it, no, what I want is story sets. I'm going to click on here. That's what I wanted to click on before. View details. Yeah. So this is the details. So I'm just going to run it from here. So when you click on run, it's supposed to pop up and then run. It's taking time to load. Oh, let me just try from my, okay, it has opened. So this is it. This is it. So you can select your any illustration you want relating to anything you want to do or anything you are trying to work on. You see it. You see it. So if you are trying to work on anything, you're trying to work on any image, anything, you can see them here. You can see illustration, different style of illustration. You can explore. It's not now we'll start going through all of them one by one. So on your own end, you can explore and see how it looks like and all of that. So I'm just going to search for, okay, since I'm designing a sign up page, let me just see if I can just type sign up and see if I was anything relating to that. So, okay, yes. So I'm just going to select any random one. You can scroll through them and see the one you want. I'm just going to select any random one. So you can drag it and drop. You can just tap on it and then it goes to where it's meant to go to. So if I drag and drop, it enters my file or anything. If I tap on it, it still enters my file or anyone. So I rather tap, because let me undo. To undo, you can just press Ctrl Z. If you press Ctrl Z, it undoes whatever you have on already. So I'm going to tap. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on this shape I had here initially, then tap on it so that it automatically just enters that shape and I don't have to start stressing myself to align, arrange, resize, and all of those stuff. So I'll just tap on it. So if I tapped on it, you can see that it just entered that particular shape. So that's that for that. So I'm going to close it. So for those of you that don't have it already as a plugin, so instead of when you're designing, you come here, all of that, you can just right click, go to your plugin, see it, go to save plugin. But how do you do that? You have to save it first of all. So when you click on all of them, you see this 3 button here. Okay, I think I even have to delete it then on save again. It's showing remove, meaning that because it's already saved on my device already, or it's already saved on my Figma, that is why it's showing removed. But on your own end, if it's not saved, I think you're supposed to see what you will see there, or the call to action you're supposed to see there is saved, not removed at the end of the day. I don't know. Are you guys with me? I feel like I'll be talking a lot because we're going to end here. We're going to continue this tomorrow. Sorry, let's just say tomorrow. Next class, because if we start with it in the next class, I'll need you guys to follow better than all the other things we've been saying since, and then adding this. So that's that. So we've added our illustration. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to resize it a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to press K on my keyboard. K is to resize. When I mean resize to shape. If you are on, remember this place we came, you have move. If you are on move and you want to resize it, it doesn't resize it to shape, or it resizes and then it distorts the actual shape or the way the image looked like, and that's not what I want. Let me Control Z. Anyway, I don't Control Z, undo my distance, and I don't know what is to redo. Okay, yeah, Control Y is redo. So you can decide to press K for shortcut, or come here, tap on this, and then it resizes it to scale. That means when you are resizing it, you don't get to distort the shape or the size of the image. That's what I just wanted to do. I wanted to resize it and still maintain the shape or the size. And I'm working with this layout grid. I want to make sure that my illustration starts from here and then it ends here. So I'm just going to resize now. Yeah, and make sure it starts from there and then it ends there. So that's my image I have. Let me close my layouts grid to see what I have here. Yes. So I'm going to change the color of this image, or I should change the color of my text. Which one? Because I'm just going to stick with the color that we have on here. Okay, I'm going to change the one for my text. So shortcuts to select a particular color from a particular image you had, you can just press on I. Once you press on I, you see this color picker or this color drop that shows. You can select a particular color from anywhere if you don't know the color code. So I'm going to select this because this is like the main color or the accent color at the end of the day. Or I'm supposed to even change this one because at the end of the day, this color is looking This color is not looking like it. So I'm going to go to selection. This should be the main color. I'll come here, click on my color picker, because honestly, I don't know the color code for that, and I did not create star guide. That's why it's good to create star guide. If I created star guide, I can easily select from here. I will see my star guide I created here and select from here. These ones are the ones that are in my library before, not the ones I created. So I decided to change that orange color. So one thing about the illustrations you select from, one thing about the illustrations you select at the end of the day is that you can make changes to them if you want to make changes to it. You don't have to like just leave it the way you are. That is one thing about using story sets by FreePic. There are some other plugins you might see, you might not be able to make certain changes you want to make to it and all of that. But using story sets by FreePic gives you that flexibility to make changes to it when you want to make changes to it and all of that. Any question quickly? We are stopping here.
Yeah, good evening, ma. Thank you very much
Good
for
evening.
that
Yeah, go ahead.
insight. Really enjoyed today's class. My question goes thus. Firstly, the grid. When you are trying to do that, I don't know if it's my network or generally, when you are trying to select the grid, I don't know how you do that. And also, the last part where you make use of color picker.
Yes.
For my hands, I click on the image, then I click on I. So it's your displaying click to sample. If I click on the text bar, the text will close, like it will fade off. Or if
You
I
say
click on
if you
the
click
image,
on, wait, hold on. Let me understand what you're saying. You said the first one was the layout grid.
yes, that's the first issue I
What
have. I
happened
don't
to
know how
the,
you I don't know how
okay,
you come
how I
about. I don't know
selected
if
it?
it yes.
Okay, then you said the second one was the color picker. If you click on I, it's what?
If I click on the image, then I click on I, it should click you should pop out click to sample. And if I click on the text, which is then the sign up will fade off. It won't display anything again. So I don't know how you do that.
Okay, for the color picker, for example, now, clicking on I, this is what is showing me. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So what do you want to do? You want to pick a color from somewhere. If you want to pick a color for example, now I want to pick a color from this background I have here. If I click on it, okay, sorry, I have to be clicked. You have to be clicked on something that you want to change the color for, not where you want to pick the color from. For example, this sign up now, I want to change the color using the color picker. I click on I. If I come here and I tap on here, you see that the color has changed. So you have to just make sure that you are clicked on the particular object before you go to the color picker to click on it and then pick a color from somewhere and all of that. And make sure you are zoomed in. So probably you selected your text and you clicked on your color picker and the color you are picking is not the exact one. That is why it's showing a fantasy or it's showing a what you said it was showing, I don't know. So just make sure of that. Then for the layout grid, what I said for the layout grid was once you are clicked on your frame that you want to add a layout grid to or whatever, come to this layout grid section. Come to this right hand side. You are going to see layout grid. Sorry, not layout grid. What you are seeing there is layout guide. I'm calling it layout grid. So you are going to see layout guide. So all you have to do is to click on this plus sign, add layout guide. So once you add it, let me remove this one and add another new one. So you see, once you add it, what shows you, this is what pops out first
My
of
screen is
all.
not displaying
But I
again.
made, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but you are not presenting anymore. I don't know.
I'm presenting. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can.
So, Jima, I think it's from your end that you can't see my screen. But probably you can, probably if your network is so bad, I'm so sorry about that. You can just try and rewatch the record. But let me just explain with my mouth. I hope you can hear me. Okay, he has left the call. Does anybody have any other question?
Yeah, good evening, man.
Good evening, Ayusa.
ISO, sir. It's ISO, sir.
Okay, Ayusa. Sorry about that. Good evening.
So before you started all these on Figma, you showed us some software that's being used in UI US. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry. Yes, I can hear you. My mic was
I
muted.
said,
Yes, you said I showed you some software.
yeah, a list of software used in UI US. So
Yes, yes.
I want you to like briefly explain the functions of those software.
Okay, whatever I'm doing here or whatever I'll be teaching you guys since a FigJam and in what we just did to a Figma, you can do all of them too with this software. But it's Figma that we're using as our own case study in the course of this class.
Okay. So what
Yes.
about this Adobe Sketch and Illustrator?
Yes, whatever I'm doing here, you can do them. Whatever we'll be doing in FigJam, whatever we are going to still be doing in Figma and FigJam in the course of this class, you can do them with this software.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm not using this as my reference in teaching during the course of this training or during the course of this class.
So they are like alternatives to Figma.
Yes, yes.
Okay. No problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other question? Please ask your question. Our time is fast spent. It's after 10 already, 17 minutes after 10. So please ask your question. If you don't have a question, there's an
I still don't
assignment.
get
Yes,
it. Oh, sorry.
there's an assignment. Okay,
I still don't get
Jimo back. Can you see my
the.
screen now?
Yes, ma.
Okay, as I was saying, I said when you click on this layout guide, you add it. Once you add it, you're going to see grid, you're going to see columns, and then you're going to see rows. I made mention of the fact that I don't work with grid and I don't work with rows, but that does not stop you from exploring it. The only two ones I work with is column. So I added a column, and once you add the column, this is how it's going to look like. But I made changes. The only thing I made changes to was the counts. So I changed the counts from 5, which was the already designated counts, to 8. So that was the only changes I did. I left everything the way they are. So that was what I just did for my layout grid. So for now, I've not added much to this, but for now, it was only this illustration I added that you can see how I made use of this layouts guide. Like you can see that the illustration, I stopped it here and then stopped it here. I used that as a guide in arranging or positioning this particular illustration. So that was that for that. Do you get me now, Jimo?
Yes, ma. And secondly, for the what's it called? Color picker.
Okay, the color picker, I said just make sure that you are clicked. If you want to change the color for a particular item, make sure you are clicked on that item before you press or before you activate your color picker to go and pick it from somewhere else. If not, it will not reflect. For example, if I'm clicked on this sign up before I press my color picker, which is I, and then go and pick any particular color I want to pick at that point in time for it to show. If not, it's not going to reflect or it's not going to show. That's that for the color picker. Any other question?
Okay, ma. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I was out for a while, so I don't know if there's any assignment for today's class.
Yes, there's assignment. There's 2 assignments. We've looked at the first assignment, which I'm not going to go back to. I think we've not looked at the second one. So the second one is create a simple profile card using Figma from what we've learned today. And then the first assignment was carry out an information architecture for the fintech or edutech application. You did a user research and user persona on. So those are the 2 assignments.
I can't see your screen live.
I'm so sorry. If you can't see my screen, you just have to rewatch the recording. I think it's the network, although network has been bad, especially MTN network. So does anybody have any other question, or we'll have to end the class? I believe every other person saw my screen, right? I know I was seeing a lot of, I can't see your screen from the comment, but then when I ask, other people will be like, they are seeing the screen and the rest. So it's just the network. I'm just so sorry about that. That's why the class is being recorded. You can watch the recording to follow up any parts you did not actually get during the course of the class. So if there's no other question, we'll be ending the class now and continuing next week, Wednesday. But I expect to see your assignments. It has not ended. The group chat is opened. My DM is opened. So don't wait till 1 week later before you continue your learning process. Learning forever continues. So no other question. We are going to be saying good night. You can continue the conversation on the group chat and do well to share your feedback. Okay. We are going to be doing a challenge, a 20 days UI design challenge, or I think 30 days. I'm going to communicate it on the group chat when it's going to begin, but we're going to do that. And that will require you posting on social media, sharing your design and all of those stuff. So it's going to kickstart soon. Just know that. Thank you all so much for joining. Have a good night's rest, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. Good night.